This week, our topic is all about weather. In our story, Days with Frog and Toad, the Kite, we learned about two characters, Frog and Toad, and their adventure of trying to fly a kite outside. Let's talk more about our target skill for this week. Our target skill is all about story structure. Characters are the people and animals in a story. The setting is when and where a story takes place. Where do Frog and Toad try to fly their kite? Is it day or is it night? Be thinking about the setting as we reread our story today. The plot is the important events. Think about Frog and Toad's problem. How do they solve it? Be thinking about these things as we are reading through our story. We can use a story map like below to list the parts of the story. We can tell about the characters, the setting, and the plot. We can tell how the problem is solved and also tell what the problem is. We also talked about how our genre of our story is fantasy. Think about the people in our story from last week. What can you do? This was from Journey's lesson 27. How are they different from the characters in our story this week, the kite? Well, our story, the kite, is a fantasy. The story events could not happen in real life. In this story, Frog and Toad talk to each other and do things that people would do. How would a real frog or toad act? So as we are rereading through our story, be thinking about where does the setting of our story take place? What is the plot or important events happening in our story? And what makes our story a fantasy? Let's begin rereading Days with Frog and Toad, the Kite. Our essential question for this story is, how can weather change your day? Be thinking about this essential question as we're reading through our story. Let's begin reading The Kite from Days with Frog and Toad by Arnold Lobel. Frog and Toad went to fly a kite. They went to a large meadow where the wind was strong. "Our kite will fly up and up," said Frog. "It will fly all the way up to the top of the sky." "Toad," said Frog, "I will hold the ball of string. You hold the kite and run." Toad ran across the meadow. He ran as fast as his short legs could carry him. The kite went up in the air. It fell to the ground with a bump. Toad heard laughter. 3 robins were sitting in a bush. "That kite will not fly," said the robins. "You may as well give up." Toad ran back to Frog. "Frog," said Toad, this kite will not fly. I give up. What problem do Frog and Toad have? Well, their problem is they are wanting to fly the kite, but the kite will not fly. What does Toad want to do about this problem? Toad listens to the robins and he says he wants to give up. Let's see what happens next. We must make a second try, said Frog. Wave the kite over your head. Perhaps that will make it fly. Toad ran back across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. At first, they could not get the kite to fly. But then, Frog wants to try again by trying something new. He tells Toad to wave the kite over his head. Toad ran across the meadow and waved the kite over his head. The kite went up in the air and then fell down with a thud. "What a joke," said the robins. "That kite will never get off the ground." "We have to make a third try," said Frog. Wave the kite over your head and jump up and down. Perhaps that will make it fly. Toad ran across the meadow again. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. The kite went up in the air and crashed down into the grass. "That kite is junk," said the robins. "Throw it away and go home." Toad ran back to Frog. "This kite is junk," he said. "I think we should throw it away and go home." "Toad," said Frog, "we need one more try. Wave the kite over your head. Jump up and down and shout, 'Up, kite, up!'" Toad ran across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. He shouted, "Up, kite, up!" The kite flew into the air. It climbed higher and higher. "We did it!" cried Toad. "Yes," said Frog. "If a running try did not work, a running and waving try did not work, and a running, waving, and jumping try did not work. I knew that a running, waving, jumping, and shouting try just had to work." The robins flew out of the bush, but they could not fly as high as the kite. Frog and Toad sat and watched their kite. It seemed to be flying way up at the top of the sky. We can see here in our picture that Frog and Toad have a big smile on their face. I think that they are feeling happy because their kite is finally flying in the sky. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of hard work. This goes to show that not everything we want happens on the first try. Sometimes it takes a lot of hard work and trying over and over again until it finally happens. I really enjoyed getting to read this story of Frog and Toad. Now let's complete an activity in our reader's notebook to finish out our reading lesson. To end our lesson today, I am going to have you complete an activity in our reader's notebook on page 183. We are working with our words to know activity, which are also called our sight words. Your directions for this activity are to circle the words that belong to each sentence. Circle the correct word in each sentence. Here we have 8 sentences, and you will notice there are 2 words in parentheses in the middle. We will read the sentence, and then you will circle which word best completes it. Let's begin with sentence number 1. The cat plays with a blank of yarn. Ball, head. Circle the word that best completes the sentence for number 1. The cat plays with a ball of yarn, head of yarn. Sentence number 2. We all blink the crash. Cried, heard. Circle the word that best completes the sentence for number 2. We all cried the crash. Heard the crash. Circle the word that best completes the sentence for number 2. Sentence number 3. You blink try these grapes. Heard, should. You heard try these grapes. Should try these grapes. Circle the word that completes the sentence for number 3. For number 4, Jean is the blank girl in line. Second, ball. Jean is the second girl in line. Ball girl in line. Circle the word that completes the sentence for number 4. Sentence number 5. Let's go, blank Kenny. Cried, heard. Circle the word that best completes the sentence for number 5. Let's go, cried Kenny. Heard Kenny. Sentence number 6. My blank hurts. Large head. My large hurts. Head hurts. Circle the word that completes the sentence for number 6. Sentence number 7. We are running blank the field. Second, across. We are running second the field, across the field. Circle the word that best completes the sentence for number 7. In sentence number 8, there is a blank bird in the tree. Large herd. There is a large bird in the tree. Herd bird in the tree. Circle the word that best completes the sentence for number 8. Once you have completed circling all of your answers for all 8 sentences, you will be all done with your reading lesson for today. We will be checking your answers during your reading intervention time. If you have any questions before then, please let me know, and I will be seeing you soon.